Hi guys, welcome to my weekly Facebook Live show. I'm Jen Burson. I'm the founder of Generation PR and the creator of the Profitable PR Pros community. You may be watching this on a replay in that community. If you don't already know about it and you're not already a member, come and join us. Look for Profitable PR Pros on Facebook. That is an incredible community of PR professionals from around the world. Literally, we have members in our audience from all over the place, and in our programs too, which is super cool to me. So we had a coaching call yesterday and had people on from New Zealand. We had somebody that was in Mexico City. We have somebody that dials in from Hawaii. Just really cool. So join us in that community. We do free training every week here on Facebook Live, and it's your resource for your community, your connections. People are referring work to each other. They're overcoming challenges with clients, asking questions, and then getting a lot of really great responses. So be active in our Profitable PR Pros community, and you know, it's like give and you receive kind of thing. So yeah, it's been awesome to kind of see people really making great connections there. And one of the things that we do in that community is our team is always monitoring questions. What does our audience want to know about? We ask you guys, what do you want to know about? We have a messenger bot that gives lots of great information and resources and also asks you what you want to know about. This has come up time and time again about press releases. And the funny thing is we had this topic planned and it came up again yesterday on our coaching call in the pitch lab. And we had a discussion about press releases versus media alerts. You know, how do we approach it? What's the right approach? How do we manage clients around this? Because we often have clients that will tell us, well, just let's put out a press release. And you kind of have to steer them in the right direction and let them know what that actually entails, why it's a good idea or not a good idea. So we wanted to do a deep dive on this topic because so many of you were asking about it, okay? And it may seem like basic stuff, but honestly, fundamentals are so important, and I always want to bring it back to basics because we want to make sure that the newer members of our community that are just getting started in PR have a solid foundation, and that our pros that have been practicing for 16 or more years like me and longer, we have members 25 years, 30 years, they're still getting the latest best practices when it comes to client service and pitching, you know, clients and doing your PR execution. So we are going to start with the basics. You know, you may think you don't need this, you don't know about this, or you don't need to know about this, but just stick with me because we're going to get into some more specifics to really help you navigate this. But the basics, what is a press release? In essence, this is a really concise way to announce news for your clients. It's simple and to the point. And what you can do in a press release is have quotes from the stakeholders or the relevant parties. So if there's like a collaboration between two companies, you can have CEOs or CMOs from both companies weighing in on what that partnership means. So the media can just grab all of the information that they need right out of your press release. And it's informative, short, sweet, to the point. Starts with a catchy subject or headline, I should say, and then has like almost a subheader that quickly summarizes what the press release is about, and then has the body, which is all of the information, and then there's boilerplate. So boilerplate is the information about your client's company. It's usually standard language that they use across all press releases. It shouldn't change much unless there's a major change in their company, but it's just the standard kind of who is this, you know, about. And then of course, contact information. So if you are their point of contact, you're going to be listed at the top as the media contact for media relations, and it'll have your contact information. Sometimes press releases are distributed actually on the wire, either PR Web, PR Newswire. There's so many different distribution services. Sometimes it's just written up that way and sent only to relevant outlets. So that means you are sending it. You are the one that is attaching it to an email, and it's kind of like the format of a press release, but it's not actually released out into the world on the wire. So we're going to dive a little deeper on when, why, what do you use these for? When is it appropriate? When should you push back with clients on issuing press releases? So the first question, and this was the subject of our live, is, are press releases dead? They are not dead, but they are not going to generate press. And these days, it doesn't even really help with SEO. So those are reasons that people have done them in the past. But the landscape of PR is so different now, and press releases don't get the same results that they used to. And I'm going to say also, in 16 years of running my agency, we've never, not once, stop texting me, guys. Oh my God, I'm like a squirrel. Like, stop. It's like, stop texting me. Still going. My team is like having a sidebar discussion over text, cracking up about something, and I'm getting distracted. So 16 years of doing PR, we have never received a meaningful piece of press from a press release, meaning we've issued a press release and some journalist has come across it on the wire and said, wow, this is so interesting and newsworthy. Can we talk? Or we want to do a story about it. What more likely happens is the release is picked up and it's redistributed. There's a lot of different channels that will pick up and just run your content. To me, that does not count as, hi Mo, that does not count as landed press. It does not count. So I've seen some agencies will run a report and they'll be like, look at all these impressions and these outlets that we got for you. No, that's not earned media, okay? That's not what we are hired to do. I think it's cheating. I think it's a little bit like bottom feeder tactics, so don't ever do that. It's fine to say we issued this release and these are all the places it was picked up, but don't try to pass that off as earned media, because it's not. Okay, earned media is a media feature that you send a pitch specifically to an outlet and they cover your client in some kind of feature, not just rerunning your press release. Awesome. Hi, Lakeisha. Not just running your press release on some like third-party Yahoo site out of India. Like, that does not count. Okay, so the other thing is that you don't even have to issue it sometimes, fine. But clients will say, well, we want a press release. We want a press release done. They think it helps with SEO, but Google has gotten wise to this. Not even recently. This has been like over a decade, where they're like, sorry, your press release is not going to help your SEO. It just doesn't. You're not going to issue a release with like millions of keywords embedded in it, and all of a sudden you show up at the top of the search for certain keywords because you issued a press release for your SEO. Doesn't work like that. We used to do that. It's not the case so much anymore. So for those two reasons, if your clients think a press release is going to help with SEO, it doesn't. And if they think it's going to generate coverage, it doesn't. What will happen, and this was, I knew I had a thought and then it like went out of my head with the little texting. The thought I had was, you will start to get calls from people trying to sell you stuff. You will get calls for pay to play. You will get calls from people trying to sell you services. So just know that if you issue a press release and you put your contact info on it, you will get a lot of people trying to pitch you pay to play opportunities or services. Okay, so that's what's more likely to come, not a meaningful press opportunity like a journalist reaching out to you. And they may be coy and hide the ball on it and be like, oh, I have this great opportunity. But if you ask the right questions, it's pay to play. Okay, so just pay attention to that and know that that's probably going to start to come your way, and don't get excited like, oh my God, we got a hit, someone's interested. It's like, no. First thing you need to say is, this a paid opportunity? And they will say, well, let me tell you more about it. Like, no, it's a pay to play. So, but there are some reasons why you might want to do a press release. These are the advantages. So if you have something that's truly newsworthy, your client has something that's truly newsworthy, like they have a major change in leadership. Maybe there's a patent or a grant for research that they've been given to solve a problem. That's great. That's very newsworthy. That's a great subject for a press release. What this also allows you to do, so SEO is not going to be a major factor, but it does help control the content when people search. So it allows you or your client to present the facts and tell the story in the way that they want it to be told. Okay, so it's quick, easy, cost-effective way to share information with specific targeted outlets, and it has the look and feel of like a media alert. So you can take that press release that you've drafted and attach it to an email, or not attach it, but run it at the bottom of your pitch in its entirety, and it serves as kind of like a media alert. A media alert, and this came up on our call yesterday, is kind of like, let's say you have an event. It's a very specific event with like a date and a time. It's happening on this day and time. You can issue like a media advisory or a media alert, and it's literally like who, what, where, when, why. It's that information. So it doesn't have the format of a press release with like, a subject and a subheading and the city and the state and the date, and then the body and the boilerplate with the media contact. That's a press release. A media alert is like media advisory, and it's like what, who, where, when, why, and for inquiries, reach out to me. So it's different, pretty, similar function, but not as formal and a little more digestible. Press releases can also act as a newsletter of sorts to kind of show the stakeholders and the wider public that a company is still or about to be prominent. So you can announce something newsworthy, like I said, research grant, fundraising is a great subject for a press release, like closing, seed funding or Series A, what's the valuation if that's public. All of that is relevant for a press release. But there are other reasons to not do them. These are the disadvantages. Like I said, if you think media contacts are going to find your press release and reach out to you, no, it does not generate earned media coverage. It's the format that editors are familiar with. So it's really helpful content to not attach, but embed in the body of a pitch and say, for more information, please check out our recent press release for all of the relevant details. And you can include, like I said, a quote from a stakeholder that we have seen journalists will actually take the quote and run it as part of their story as if they interviewed, it's a quick and easy way for them to look as if they interviewed the stakeholders or the, founders of the company or whatever. But again, it's not actually issued. It's just a format that journalists are like comfortable with, and they know where to find the information and what to look for those. Journalists will skim press releases, and they'll only really read them if it's real news. They'll, they're going to skim it and look for something that's relevant to them. But if it's real news, then they'll actually pay more attention to it. There may be a better way to get the word out, especially if it's startups or smaller companies. Larger companies tend to have more newsworthy stories. There's just a lot happening, different divisions, a lot of, big news that's happening, innovations, patents, product launches, changes of leadership, awards won, things like that with larger companies. But smaller companies, there's other ways to do it. And that's where you come in with creating story angles and pitching your client to the media specifically, targetedly, and in a strategic way. That's the stuff we teach in the Pitch Lab. That's really mastering the art of timing and relevance. It's all the content that we share in our monthly execution plans and the entire strategy we teach in the roadmap in the Pitch Lab. But that's where we come in to help smaller companies get their newsworthy content out to the media in a strategic, targeted, and meaningful way. Give me a thumbs up if this is resonating, if you're seeing how you can use a press release or when it's appropriate to use a press release. If you're here, if you're paying attention, if I'm not just talking to myself, let's have a conversation. And also just know that at the end, I'm going to leave the floor open for questions, any topic you want to ask about. I have a little bit more here to share with you that I think is probably the best part of this presentation. But I want you to start thinking about questions you may have for me, because I'm here and I'm happy to answer questions. Hi. Oh, hi, Lisa. I'm so glad to see you on here. Okay, so questions to ask your clients before writing a press release to determine if this is a viable strategy for them, if this is something that you should pursue. And I want you to, again, step into your expertise. Know that you're the pro here. Clients don't get to come in and tell you, we want a press release. You're going to look like a fool if you send something out that's not truly newsworthy. It's a waste of time and money, and it dilutes their actual relevant news, and it makes you look like you don't know what you're doing. So get comfortable with pushing back when it's not appropriate. It's not the appropriate subject of a press release. Be comfortable saying, we're going to save the press releases for really important, meaningful news. This is something I feel very comfortable reaching out to my specific targets, crafting a meaningful, compelling, strategic pitch that's laser focused. That's going to get you the best results. Push back on it, okay? So ask your clients, what are we announcing? What is the subject of this press release? What is the announcement? Is it truly an announcement? Is it news? Is it really, truly newsworthy content? Yeah. Mo is saying, I have found that no one, where did my comments go? Oh, here we go. I have found that no one is really using press releases anymore. It's important to know how to write them, but I don't think they are useful, mainly because it's the things I have learned, but it's a waste of time and money. Yeah. Certain instances. So start to think about these questions. What are we announcing? Why is it news? Is it truly newsworthy? Are there external partnerships or contacts that should be included in the press release? So other stakeholders, if there's a partnership collaboration between your client and another company, what kind of quotes can you include, or is it important to include those in order to really drive home the importance of this message and the newsworthiness of it? So like we had a client several years back that London Heathrow Airport was doing their 70th anniversary marketing campaign, and they used our client's product prominently, like it was the star of a commercial. Basically, it was a little rolling backpack that had an owl on it, and this little girl goes through London Heathrow Airport, but it's from the backpack luggage's vantage point. And it was honestly like the cutest thing ever. But there was a lot of hoops and hurdles that had to happen in order for this to go down as for this to get made. Like it wasn't just like, oh, they bought it in a store and used it as a prop in this commercial. It was like this collaboration between the brand and the airport, and getting clearances and all of this stuff. And all of that. Hi, Nelson. Welcome to our community. Nelson saying, I found that pitch emails with bullet points work better than press releases because they get right to the point. Absolutely. Absolutely. But you know that there are times when clients do have something that's press release worthy. We felt this collaboration with London Heathrow Airport was, given that this product was the star of the marketing campaign, and we were able to get the president of Heathrow Airport essentially to give a quote, the founder of the company to give a quote, and what it meant for their, like the backpack had like a personality. They gave the backpack a personality. It was luggage essentially in this commercial. And it was so prominent, and it was featured for like a year in the UK, that we made a big deal about it. We felt that that was worthy. And that was one of the very few instances that we actually did issue a press release, and we did pull quotes from both party stakeholders to amplify the importance of that message. And Nelson, I totally agree with you. We very, very rarely will issue press releases, and we always focus on pitch emails with bullet points. That's exactly the right approach. I totally agree. And Lisa, I'll answer your question at the end because it's about pitching, so it's a separate topic. Love the question. The other thing to ask your client is, who does this press release benefit? What segments or industries need to be targeted? Figuring that out will help you refine your message to make it really relevant to those industries, and it'll also help you weed out whether or not it's truly newsworthy. Cool. Thanks, Lisa. And then how does this press release help differentiate the company, hi Jane, from its competitors? Think about that. Is it truly going to help this company rise to the top, stand out, really give them some distinct advantage over their competitors? That might be worthy of issuing a release. But again, do not let clients tell you that they want to release on a certain topic if it's not truly newsworthy. It's a waste of your time and money, and it dilutes your actual relevant news. And Nelson is saying, thanks, I get way more coverage for my clients using pitch emails. That's exactly right, us too. I mean, of course, we never get coverage on press releases. It's just not how it works. But that's also the approach we teach in the Pitch Lab. Nelson, exactly. We teach how to become a pitching powerhouse using strategic targeted pitch emails. We don't even get on the phone anymore. It's all emails. So that's what we're teaching inside the Pitch Lab. That's exactly our approach. And you hear it here first. Nelson says that's the way that it works. Jane is asking, Jane is saying, I should say, press releases are important for sharing information. Wearing my media hat, what I receive all the time now is a lazy paragraph with the invitation to interview the CEO or whomever. I don't have time for that unless it's an earth-shattering breakthrough. If you want me to write about your new product, new hire, etc., send me the information in a press release, pitch email, whatever. I don't care as long as it has all of the information and it isn't a PDF that I can't copy and paste from. That's such great insight. Jane has a beauty industry newsletter, and so she's getting pitched all the time about it. She's also a PR professional, very seasoned PR pro, members of our programs. The Agency Accelerator and the Pitch Lab. And Jane, I saw you lurking on the call yesterday. Thanks for being there. And this is exactly right. So it doesn't so much matter the format as long as all of the information is there, but some lazy email with like a general idea and then an invitation for more. An invitation to kind of ask more. It's putting the work on her. If you're like, here's the idea, if you want to do more about it, let's give you more work and make you have to pursue it and make you have to ask the CEO or stakeholder for information. No, just get the quote, get the information, get what this means to the company, give it to Jane in a format that she can grab and go, and then you're getting your story more likely run. It just makes it easy for her. But if it's in a PDF that you can't copy from, then or it comes through with weird formatting, it's going to make her job harder and she's just going to ignore it. So this is how you get it done. Just don't send a catalog sheet that's written for a different audience. I get that all the time now. Oh, that's super frustrating. Yeah, that's super frustrating. We always tell our clients that if they have some kind of line sheet or sales sheet, we're not using it that way. With SKUs and quantity minimums and things like, no, you have to create an asset that's a one sheet. We also have examples of one sheets in the Pitch Lab to show really good examples of one sheets you can help your clients develop or show them as examples that'll really get the media's attention. It has literally everything they need right on it, that is clearly for them and not for the consumer and not for a wholesale buyer. So it's not like you can repurpose those assets. And if clients say, well, we have this, can you use this? Say, you know what, with a few subtle tweaks, let me show you how we can use it, but I'm not sending this with barcodes and quantity minimums and things like that, even though all the information may be there. So that's a really good point too, Jane. Thanks for sharing that. So yeah, like I said, if you want to hone your PR skills and score major press features for your clients and become a pitching powerhouse, you can join us in the Pitch Lab. I think that if you leave a comment here, you may just get, you know what, I'm just going to post a link. so that if you want to explore more, you can. Several of you are already in, which is so awesome. But yeah, let me know if you have questions. I'm going to jump in and answer Lisa's question. She has her own brand, her own service-based business, an online design service for kids' rooms. And I've used it myself. I used it for my son's bedroom, which is, we still have it like this, and it's super cute. Now it's turned into a homeschooling office. But she is asking best follow to a pitch timing, week after 2 weeks. Oh gosh. Okay, hold on one second. So Jane is saying 7 out of 10 pitches, so 70-ish% say, "Dear editor, dear media," or "Hey there." That is the laziest pitching that I've ever heard of. Do not do it. Do not do it. I know Nelson doesn't do that. I am sure of that. Nelson gets it. I'm sure absolutely Mo would never do that. Lakeisha, you don't do that. We teach in the pitch lab how to make your pitches targeted, strategic, relevant. This is what moves the needle. Sending out a mass pitch with "Dear editor, dear media," or "Hey there" will get you deleted. It's lazy. It's just bad practice. Yeah, pitches should be personalized. I knew. Ew, that is so gross, is what Mo is saying. Yes, and Mo is new to the PR world, and even she knows that is not how you get the job done. Okay, so no, and you're hearing it here. You've got Jane. I love Jane's background. She's so uniquely positioned to serve her clients. And even Lisa's laughing. Ha, hey there. No, it's just ridiculous. And not mentioning the name of the publication. We did a masterclass this week in the Pitch Lab all about pitching podcasts with a guest expert, Michelle Lewis, and she has a podcast, and she's also pitching herself and other people out for podcast guest appearances, and was going through specific pitches that she's received, not calling anyone out in a negative way, but really just calling out what could be improved and punched up. And it really, from her perspective, and Jane is saying that as well, is all about connecting with the journalist and making sure that they know that this is specifically for them, that this pitch is for them. They know that you sort of get their content, what they're all about, what they cover. This is relevant for them. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. And when you do that, "Hey editor, "Hey there, dear media," it's lazy. Don't be lazy. You are not being paid to be lazy. So yeah, no, I still can't believe there's PR pros that do that, but I get pitches too. I'm on a couple media distribution lists for certain sites that I've contributed to in the past, and I get that too. "Hey editor, love your blog." Like, no, you don't. You don't even know who you're pitching. So yeah, that's a really great point. And to answer Lisa's question, so I'm assuming, Lisa, you're sending a pitch and you're wondering when it's appropriate to follow up. Here's an example of what not to do. Don't send a pitch on a Friday at 4:30 and then follow up Monday morning and say, "It's been 4 days and I haven't heard from you." I just saw this the reason I said it is because I just saw this on Instagram yesterday with someone complaining about it. That's not 4 days. That's barely 30 business minutes. So no, that doesn't count. Yeah, so you're sending a pitch. One of the little tidbits we have learned that surprised me, it was based on research, but one of the best days to actually get a response and to get your email opened is sending it on a Friday, and then the second best day is a Monday. And I know many of you seasoned pros on here are going to be like, "What? It's Tuesday through Thursday." But because that's what we have all learned and what we all do, those are the most crowded days in the editor's inbox. So you're competing with basically every PR pro who's pitching Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Fridays are light because nobody pitches on a Friday because everybody thinks Friday's the worst day. So there are studies that have been done on the response rate, and the open rate and the response rate is higher on a Friday, and the second highest day of response is a Monday. Shocked to find out myself. So that's one of the first things is, maybe try sending your initial pitch on a Friday, Or if you sent the initial pitch on a different day, let's say it's 2 or 3 days later, 4 days, within a week. The first time, I would say within a week is appropriate. Send it on a Friday, send that follow-up on a Friday. And if you can offer new information or a new idea, or, just don't be that, hey, was it something I said? Or are you ignoring me? Like, shocked that people say that. Don't be gross. Lisa, I know you're not gross. I've known you a very long time. But yeah, there are people that still do that, and it's so weird. Okay, wait, 3 out of 10. What does that mean, Jane? Can you clarify? I'm sorry. Lisa's saying the last one I followed up 2 weeks later and heard back from a couple. I think 2 weeks is maybe a little long. I might try to bump it up a little sooner. I know we just had Thanksgiving, so people were a little, their days, weeks were a little broken up. December's also a little weird because of the holidays, especially this year. But I would bump it up sooner. I would follow up within a week. 2 weeks is kind of a long time to wait. I would go a little earlier than that. Jane, let me know what you mean by 3 out of 10. Oh, oh, she laughed about hey there. I said that's 3 out of 10. Yeah, so 3 out of 10, 30% of Jane's pitches coming to her from PR professionals start with hey there. That is lazy. Don't be lazy. Oh my God, no. I'd rather have you focus. We talk about going deep, being strategic and targeted. We don't do the spray and pray approach. We teach you how to be a pitching powerhouse. And pitching powerhouses know that, hey there, hey journalist, hi media, dear podcaster. No, that's lazy. That doesn't work. If you think you are going to land big clients, premium clients with nice, juicy retainers, and you're going to then be lazy about your pitching, it doesn't work that way. Any good one-liners? I don't like that term one-liner because I feel like it's canned and it doesn't feel authentic. I like to write what I'm feeling in the mood. There was one cute one. I just heard COVID related. It was something like, I hope you're staying positive and testing negative, something like that. I don't know if that's like insensitive. I thought that was kind of cute, but I also have a feeling that that's being used quite a bit. Yeah, a couple sentences. I mean, it would just be like, hey there, hope you're continuing to stay safe and healthy. Wanted to follow up on my pitch below. I really feel that this is relevant for your readers, and wanted to highlight a recent new feature that we've added, or something. If you have like tips, Jane, not Jane, I'm sorry, Lisa, if you have tips about positioning yourself as an expert on design, and even like virtual design right now is really important, obviously with COVID. So I think it could be really cool to tie in the remote aspect of it and having it be COVID safe. So talk about how you can get the most out of your relationship with your virtual designer, or how you can virtually design the tween room of your dreams, or the transition your kid to their big kid room virtually and create the, now I know I'm getting into pitch angles, but I really like that. I think that's very relevant for your business right now. And then when you follow up, just say, we're back on something timely and relevant right now. Like, we're in California, we're back on lockdown. I think, are you in Texas, Lisa? I can't remember, but I think you're in Texas. Talking about how we're back on lockdown, and like, are you staring at the walls? Like, we have virtual design. It was Omaha, sorry. Yeah, okay, so you're in Nebraska. Helped a family on a makeover show get their rooms done. So totally relevant. Very, very cool. Yeah, so whatever the show was, you can say, get a HGTV designer in your back pocket for a fraction of the cost, and virtual, COVID safe, get it all done virtually. So, I think just tying it back into, like, we're back on lockdown again here in Los Angeles. It's kind of like ramping up. Referencing that, I think, because it's also relevant to your pitch angle, that's appropriate, So just the point is keep your personality in it. Don't try to be sterile or have some one-liner that feels like it's manufactured or isn't appropriate for you. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like trying to be, that's when those people go like, was it something I said, or are you ignoring me? Like, ugh, don't be that, right? So, don't overthink it. Just what feels right in the moment. What's the new, like, what is the reason you're reaching out that you're like, you didn't get back to me, but I know this is great for you. So you think about that and tie it back in specifically to that editorial outlet's unique editorial content that you are like, this is really good for you. Like, I know it is, so what is pulling you to pitch them and want to follow up and focus on that? Like, I'm certain that this is really relevant for your readers for these reasons. I'd love for you to take a look at the pitch attached below. It's all right there, like everything you need is right there. And then end with a really strong call to action. Literally your follow-up is like 2 sentences. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, I wouldn't go longer than a week. Try to do like 4 days. Don't pitch on a Friday and follow up on a Monday. That's not right. So like literally 4 business days-ish. But yeah, that's how I would approach it. And Lisa, you've done a great job of pitching yourself and your business to the media. I know you're also like one of the very first people that went through Press Success, my early PR program. I'll always be grateful for you joining me in that program. But anybody else who's still on, let me know if you have any questions at all. Nelson, again, welcome to the community. It's so nice to have you. And Jane, you're always so giving and helpful. And Mo, hi, hopefully everything's good over there in Hawaii. Yeah, and Lakeisha, if you're still here. You guys, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time. Hope you're staying positive and testing negative. No, but stay safe and healthy. And I will see you here next week. I go live every week, Thursday at 11, unless there's a holiday. And we deliver content based on what you guys are asking, what's relevant now, what people are dying to know. And this was one that came up over and over and over again about press releases. So hopefully this gave you some information and you heard it here from several seasoned professionals. They are landing press with strategic, targeted, relevant, timely pitch angles, which is what we teach in the Pitch Lab. And if you're interested in learning more about the Pitch Lab and joining Mo and joining Jane, join us and you can check it out there. Okay, awesome guys. Thank you so much for being here and we will see you next week. Ciao.